Jan Blachowicz gives an update on his shoulder. Jan posted this to X. He wrote, first shoulder operated on. Unfortunately, there was too much work to do with one, so they couldn't fix both at once. Another surgery soon. I'll have to wait a little longer to come back. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Joe Rogan recently said that oftentimes, elite fighters who are fighting outside of the UFC are wasting their careers. Josh Thompson and John McCarthy respond to Joe and say that the UFC is not the best option if you're fighting for money. Joe said, no disrespect to other organizations. There's very good fighters in the other organizations, but I often feel like they're wasting their career because I see these elite fighters that are fighting in Bellator or PFL, and I'm like, hey guys, no one's watching. I mean, some people are watching. You're getting a little bit of a fan base. I don't want to disrespect, but there's a reality. There's the XFL and there's the CFL, then there's the f***ing NFL. And if you're not in the f***ing NFL, are you really playing football? If you're the UFC champ, you're the f***ing man. If you're the Bellator champ, I respect the shit out of those guys. I love them. Guys like Johnny Eblen. I really wish that guy would come to the UFC. There's this feeling of being in the UFC that everyone dreams of. You want Bruce Buffer right in front of you going, it's time. And you're like, holy shit.
Okay, first off, if you're not playing in the NFL, are you playing football? Yeah, you're playing football. When you're in college, it's football. When you're in high school, it's football. Football is football. I don't care what letters are in front of it. Now, this is the one thing that Joe's right about. And this is what I've said all the time about the UFC and fighters, because you have to break this down and look at what's important. And what's important to each fighter is individual. And I've told fighters to their face, look, you need to decide, what is the reason you're fighting? Is it to become famous? And if it is, the UFC is the best option for you. They have the best marketing, and they are going to, if you do what you're supposed to do, they're going to put that marketing behind you, and more people are going to know you than ever before. If that's the reason you're fighting. If you're fighting for money, they're not the best option. Okay, the PFL, Bellator at the time, all had to. They had to, Josh, and it's because the UFC is the biggest, but the UFC has, proven time and time again, look, besides a couple of people, the best paid fighters are outside of the UFC. Okay? A couple in the UFC make really good money. Okay? But it's only a couple. And so you have to look and say, what is the reason you're fighting? What Joe is doing here is he's working for his employer. He's working for his friend in Dana and saying it. And he's saying, I want to see, and I don't blame Joe for saying it, I want to see everybody in the UFC. Okay. I don't blame you, because you want to see these guys fight these other guys here. But you're not paying them. And the UFC's not going to pay him.
Aljamain Sterling previews his fight against Calvin Kattaer at UFC 300. This will be Aljamain's UFC featherweight debut.
UFC 300. It's going to be in Las Vegas. Former bantamweight champ myself, obviously, talking in third person again. Sometimes I can't help myself. Taking on the bad Boston finisher, Calvin Kattaer. Can't wait. We actually trained with each other back in the day at Team Bomb Squad. Let him tell it, It was some cool training back then. I was an amateur. I think he was like an early on pro. This was like back in like 2010, I think. So right before I went pro, and I went pro in 2011. Crazy how things come full circle. He stayed on the regional circuit over there. I stayed in the regional circuit over by me, and eventually good things happened. And both got to the UFC, did our things. Now our paths are crossing. I'm going up a weight class. I'm excited, man. The future is bright, and I cannot wait. Back at a normal, more fitting, natural weight for me. I've been cutting down from about 170 to 170, 173, all the way down to 135 for about the last 4 to 5 years, roughly, give or take 4 or 5 years. And I noticed in the Pedro Munoz fight, that's when I started to feel like I was slowing down. Like things just felt a little bit different when I was getting to the later rounds. I would have a crazy output in the room, but it's like after I stepped on the scale and I started like exerting energy, I just felt like a big taper off in my energy. So I'm excited to see what I can do at 45. I hit way harder at 45. I kick way harder at 45. And when I say at 45, I mean on my natural weight, where I'm walking around 170, 168 after a workout kind of a thing. So I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup to see how things work out. Early prediction for myself, I think it's going to be a very tough fight. I think Calvin Kattaer brings a lot to the table. Not much in the grappling department, but he has really good anti-wrestling. So we'll see. 3-round fight, he's probably going to force me to stand up with him. I like the challenge. Let me say that. I like the challenge. He's a dog. He doesn't quit. So I think this is going to be a very fun fight for the fans. May the best man win. And I can't wait to go out there, because I'm going to say this. I'm looking to introduce myself again and remind the world that why I'm really good at what I do and how I've gotten to this level in the first place.
So there are rumors going around of the UFC purchasing Top Rank. Top Rank is a boxing promotional company. Dana White has shut down these rumors. Dana posted this to his Instagram story. He wrote, "Absolutely, positively not true. We are not buying Top Rank." Conor McGregor says his patience is wearing thin in regards to making his UFC return. Conor said, "Give me something. It was supposed to be in April, and before it was supposed to be in December. They never treated anyone. No one has ever been treated like this for all the figures I've brought in this game. I sell more than all of them combined. I see more than all of them combined. No one in the history of the fight game has ever been treated the way I'm getting treated. To what I came through, to what I bring. I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. My patience is wearing thin. Get me back in there. It's f***ing bollocks. The MAC has loads to offer, loads to deliver. They're talking Manny Pacquiao. I don't give a f***. They're talking Manny here in Saudi. The lads in the UFC aren't really talking any, so the lads here are talking Manny, and the UFC aren't talking any." Dricus Du Plessis says there's no hard feelings regarding Sean Strickland. Dricus says that he has the world of respect for Sean. On the Coach and the Casual podcast, Dricus said, "For me, I was absolutely calm about it. I wasn't angry. I was having fun, and the security was like, 'You need to chill.' I'm like, 'I'm as chill. I can't be more chill. What do you want from me?' There's no hard feelings. I still have the world's respect for Sean Strickland. He's a real man. I said it, and he showed that at UFC 296. I mean, he stood up for himself, and he did that's what a real man does. He stood up for himself. Listen, did he behave like a champion? Probably not. But at the end of the day, champion or not, we are fighters. We are not football players. We are not sprinters. We are fighters, and that's what we do. It's in our DNA. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Zexter33. It says, "Dustin calling out Nate is so pathetic. Talking about don't be scared, homie, but turns down every fight he gets offered unless he knows it's winnable." The second one says, "Conor on drugs or drunk is pure comedy." And the final one says, "I feel like the KO from Alex and coming to train with him and Glover is what made him a champion. It takes hard to train with the man that knocked you out, both heading into 2024 with gold." Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.